This is activity 4, payback plan. In this case, Elena borrows some money and then she pays it back over time. So this is going to be a negative slope. She's going to start out with a positive amount of money, and then over time that money is going to flow away from her. She's going to pay back the amount of money she borrowed. So this is going to be adding a negative amount or subtracting the amount that she borrowed. So this is a negative slope. Again, it's in the top left corner and it's going to the lower right corner. So that's a negative slope. And I'm a fan of writing down as much information as I can before I even look at the question. So what are all the things that I can see in this graph that are going on before I even look at the questions? Well, it has a y-intercept of a positive 18. So it crosses the y-axis at a positive 18. Not sure what that means just yet, although I could figure it out. Amount owed in dollars at 0 weeks owes $18. So that's going to be the amount of money that Elena borrowed. And it crosses the x-axis at x equals 6, y equals 0. So what does that mean? Well, amount of money Elena has borrowed after 6 weeks is $0. So that means that she has paid it back in 6 weeks. There's a decrease of 3 units each week. So if I just choose this point right here, after 1 week, she owes $15. And remember to break this up into 2 parts. Look at the change along the x-axis first, and that change is 1 week or 1 unit. And then what's the change along the y-axis? Well, this is -3, and we'll talk about how to calculate that in a few minutes. But, actually, it's right here. So it ends at 12, starts at 15, so that 12 minus 15 is -3. So what's the slope going to be? It's going to be that -3 over that 1 week. So the slope is actually going to end up being -3. So basically, you've answered all the questions before you even looked at them. And remember that this is the form of an equation when there's a y-intercept, and it's not a proportional relationship, although it's linear, and it crosses the y-axis. So m is the slope, and we've just figured out that's -3. So remember that m we're using as the word movement. It moves. So it moves at a -3 units each week. And where does it begin? Where does it cross the y-axis? It crosses the y-axis at a positive 18. So the equation for this problem is y equals -3x, and x is the number of weeks, so it's a -$3 for each week, plus $18 where Elena started, so she borrowed $18. So the amount owed is y, and the number of weeks is x, and weeks to equal -18. Remember, we did this before. So to get this y equal to 0, this part of the expression has to equal -18. You're going to add that to positive 18, add those two together, it will equal 0. So what does x have to be to make this part of the expression equal to -18? Well, x has to equal 6. 6 times -3 is -18. So weeks to equal -18, when y equals 0, the debt has been repaid. So over here, when y is equal to 0, the debt's been repaid, and that's called the x-intercept. All right, so let's look at the calculation of the slope. We just did this, but let's look at it again. So the slope is equal to the units of change along the y-axis. So how many units has this line changed along the y-axis? It's gone from here to here, so it's gone down 3 units. So that's a -3. So starts at 15, ends at 12. 12 minus 15 is -3. Starts at 15, ends at 12. So you subtract where it started from where it ended. 12 minus 15 equals -3. Along the x-axis, starts at 1 and ends at 2. So you subtract where it started from where it ended. So it ended at 2, started at 1. 2 minus 1 is 1. That's 1 week. So -3 divided by 1 equals -3. And what that tells you is that the change along the y-axis is a negative 3 times the change along the x-axis. Well, so the change along the y-axis, so the y value, is negative 3 times the x value. So it's a negative 3 times the number of weeks. So each week gets multiplied by negative 3. So that is equal to y. All right, number 2 says, explain how you know whether the slope is positive or negative. Well, from the story, you know that the debt is reduced. So it's $3 that she's paying back each week. That's a negative $3. So that's a negative slope. From the graph, you know that it's moving from the top left corner to the lower right corner. That is a negative slope. What does the slope represent in the situation? Well, it's the reduce in the debt, $3 per week. That's a negative $3 per week. So it's a negative 3 over 1, or equal to negative 3. So negative $3 per week. How much did Elena borrow? She borrowed $18. That's the y-intercept. At 0 weeks, she owes $18. So that's what she borrowed. She borrowed $18. How much time will it take her to pay back all the money she borrowed? It's going to take 6 weeks. Subtract $3 each week. So $18 divided by $3 each week. How many times can you take out $3? You can do that 6 times. So that's in 6 weeks, she will pay back that $18. And we use the equation back here, right here, to figure that out as well. So if you make this equal to negative 18, what makes this equal to negative 18? You multiply it by 6. So that's 6 weeks times a negative $3 each week makes this negative 18. Add that to positive 18, and you get an answer of 0. So she's paid everything back after 6 weeks.